Okay guys, I'm going to get myself a tea. Good morning. I must be sleepy. I was just like trying to figure out how to do it and what to do with this. Thank you very much. Yes, it is my birthday. I am freaking old today, but you know, being on the other side of the hill, it also actually kind of like feels good. I really have to admit. So trying to get myself a little bit better organized over here. So let's start, guys. And of course, I'm going to do Aquarius first, just simply for the selfish reasons. Let me put my phone to buzzer, because right after live, I'm going to have some cakes with people. So it's kind of like indulgence for this 3 days. We have a long weekend in Toronto. They call this Family Day, I believe. It's the third week in Ontario. So yeah, thanks Ontario for celebrating my birthday, giving an extra day off. So it's awesome. Oh my gosh, look at you guys. You're awesome. You're freaking awesome. So thank you so much. I'm still coughing, guys. This is going on since December 25th. So what is this? Like 6, 7, 8 weeks almost? It's crazy. Hello. Hi. Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. So I'm pondering here which deck to use. So guys, you're seeing here Morgan Greer, Tarot Muha, Arcanium, Tarot de la Nuit. I just pulled the basket out. Then we have, is this vice versa? No, this is Illuminati, even though, oh, it is Illuminati. Then we have Romantic Tarot. Then we have Rider Waite. We have vice versa. And we have Levelin. And this is, what do they call this one? The Prisma Vision Tarot. And then we have Visconti Tarot Majors. So guys, do you have any preferences over here that you want? I mean, there are some of them that I rarely use, but they're like all really cute. I kind of like see tarot deck, I fall in love with it, and then, you know, I don't use it anymore. So that's kind of like really interesting. So any suggestions? Nobody saying nothing? Nobody? Okay, guys, I'm going to pick. Oh, I know you're delayed. Let me just wait for this delay to go through, and then we'll start. Thank you, everybody, again for happy birthdays. I had to figure it out how to kind of like work this, because it's a completely new system. Prisma sounds good. Okay, Kylie is saying Prisma. Okay, Prisma. And I think I'm going to grab Romantic that gives the best news. Well, we are going to have some positive news, guys. We are entering in 2 days Mercury retrograde. I already have Mercury retrograde all over the place. Prisma is very never even read the book. Look at how pretty this thing is. Like, I think it's like done by a graphic designer who also owns a printing shop. So you kind of like really get the really nice deck. over here. So it's one of those decks, and I don't know if you know about this deck, where cards are kind of like continuing. And I don't know if I can show you. So let me just try to find the cups or something. So just to give you this idea, so just an amazing freaking work. I really fell in love about this 3. So it is 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 5, 7, 6. Can you see what's happening here? Is anybody 8, 6? It should be 7, I guess. 7, 8, and we need 4. We need 4. Where is 4? Here we go. Can you see what's happening here? Do you guys see this is like one long painting that has been sliced, right? 8, 9, and 10, and I don't think it's even fitting on the screen over here. So that's basically what is really fantastic about Prisma. So we are going to do this, and I'm going to, these are all upright interpretations. So unfortunately, when you interpret, you don't see this kind of like momentum, but I'm reading these cards differently because of this momentum, because if momentum shows up, it is telling me telling me a story, right? So, and look at this, they're like silver plated. Isn't this freaking awesome? Just like everything about this deck that I like, except that the meanings sometimes are a little bit off. And this is one of my very well loved decks. I used to use this a lot years ago, and then I don't know, I stopped. So my apologies for coughing will happen. So let's start, and I have to make this timestamps. Just let's see where we are for my Barbie. Barbie is here. Yes, my head moderator. So let's start with Aquarius, of course, right? Aquarius, what's going on this week? So we are going through happy birthdays to everybody, like, because this is kind of like finalizing our sign. That kind of like was so short. It just like, it felt like this. Honestly, I really liked, I don't know if any other Aquarius is here. I like to be on the tail end, so I'm kind of like enjoying as it comes along, and it's almost like feels like a grand finale for those of us here on the cusp. So let's see this. Let's see. Aquarius for this week, 15 to 22nd. Maybe I should do it this way. We have 7 of Cups, and you see this kind of like a snake is coming through it, or out of it, rather to say it. Whoa. Then we have the Lovers. Could it be choice of people? But then we have 8 of Swords. So what I'm seeing, guys, here is, I think we are dealing here with choices. Like, clearly both of these cards are choices. These are like more or less about illusions, even more than choices, right? Whenever we have 7 of Cups, and it will be interesting what they said, because this is not traditional interpretation of the card, but 7 of Cups to me is always about daydreaming, lots of choices, people kind of like seeing new directions, people thinking about new directions, right? But not necessarily pushing through in those directions. Sometimes those dreams just end up being dreams, and hence it can be kind of like weird to kind of like do it. So what they say, 7 of Chalices lie on the banks. Hi, Sapphie. Hey, another birthday girl. We had a birthday a while back. You want to celebrate? So 7 warns over indulgence, abusing sensual pleasures. Oh, maybe that's why it is in this deck. By allowing others to be deceived, we deadened ourselves to our problems. So I guess, and I'm not going to use this, I have to go with my own interpretation. I guess this whole swirl that we see probably indicates passion. It's really interesting because this would tell me it's a kind of base chakra. It's really talking about this primitive needs, let's say sexuality. And so many times we mistake them for our true needs, our intimacy needs, right? And that's what is basically residing here in the background, that we have something going on, and something is really, really happening, right? So this is kind of like overshadowing our true needs, but it looks like we are going to, it's interesting, it's Knight of Swords. It's really requiring us to really speak up about what we need. Maybe we are kind of like hesitant, maybe there's like somebody around, or that somebody around is not coming through. But then we have the Lovers, and look at this, isn't this beautiful romantic dance? It's a whole bunch of couples swirling around, and it's also the High Priestess like behind us. I really think there is like a big switch. Aquarius 19th is going to be a big switch date, and it looks like some of us will really not know what to do, because it's giving us suggestion, Ace of Swords. But Eight of Swords is like that feeling of, let's say, impotence, feeling of, oh my gosh, I just don't know where to go and the world is against me. So this is not necessarily the greatest thing, but it's saying like it's so easy to get out of it. So clearly we are close to where we need to go. So it's saying do not despair. Sure, it feels that your car broke down in the middle of nowhere. It feels wrong, but by being inactive, by just feeling sorry about yourself, it's not going to help. That's the worst thing you can do. Instead, you need to take action, swift action, and you need to kind of like take charge. And that's simply what suggestion is being given, more or less general reading. Could be about options, could be that somebody's imposing options on us and it was not in accordance to our dreams, what we want. So instead, kind of like we are feeling a little bit stuck. But let's see romantically what I get out here. What do we get romantically over here? Let's see. Aqua girls and boys. Oh my goodness, look at this. We have 9 of Cups. And we had, I think the next one was 9 of Pentacles. So it is really talking about self-orientation and grounding. And I really like 9 of Pentacles, and specifically, especially when it's combined with 9 of Swords. I think some of Aquarians are really thinking about the past things that has caused them lots of emotions. You guys need to understand, as Aquarians, we are like overly easygoing, and we end up in a relationship that almost like we need to talk somebody else into that relationship, and then we end up, and this person sometimes can hurt us, which is devastating for us because we opened up, and it's really, really hard for us to kind of deal with that. But look at that. 9 of Cups also leads to understanding that we are emotionally strong, that we are emotionally ready. And this combines with like 2 of Cups. Like somebody is coming, guys. And I see more choices, I was just about to say. And then I see again here 8 of Cups, and we have 8 of Swords. Okay, so this is what I see. Some of you, and this is what bothers me, there'll be choices. So are we just one of the choices to someone else, or are we having a couple of choices? That's going to be the true questions over here. But things are moving forward in some respect. Things kind of like felt a little bit kind of like weird, and I just like flick this over. Things kind of like felt really weird because look at what I really see here. There is a masked dude and masked lady. Masked dude and masked lady, but she is sort of tiny touch lifting her mask, and here we see a guy without mask, but ladies are still wearing a mask. So Aquarian, if you're a lady, you need to remove the mask off, because in this deck also she is basically technically blindfolded. There's like something we need to see and we are refusing to see it. And where are my angel cards? Let me pull an angel card as well. Let me do that. Oh, Aqua is your ascendant, Sally. Vision. Well, that kind of like fits. It says soul, sight, and future. So that could make sense, because if we feel constrained, if we feel that we are trying to go in the future because we are future-oriented sign, and that we find a whole bunch of obstacles or people are blocking us, then we shut down at times. So this is wakey call, guys. Life is there, life is waiting for us, but life is not going to be there if we don't engage. So it's very important, guys, to comprehend this, and it's very important to engage. Do not sit stuck. It's time to kind of like say hello to the world and start a new fresh process, especially when we got this like Ace of Swords that was hiding there combined with the Lovers. This is like a really good omen, guys. So I would say good going. And Aquarians, if you're making your choices, make them wisely, don't hesitate too much. And also, to some extent, you need to put yourself on the pedestal, because it feels like that some Aquarians might again go, actually I wanted to clarify a few cards. That Eight of Swords, few Aquarians are still feeling that their future depends on somebody else's decision, which could be the case, but it doesn't have to be the case. So let me just see this Eight of Swords. It's money. Maybe there is like a financial pinch that we are thinking, or we are wondering about the new ways of making money or how to go about that. But look at this. We are being watched by God, by universe, whatever you want to call it, right? This constancy is like this thing that's saying like, we really find the best who you are when you are in some kind of like dire straits. And this kind of like directly goes back to this Eight of Swords. What are you going to do? Are you going to be ethical? How will it go about it? So it's very important, guys, to acknowledge this. And one more, but look at this. Gifts. So I didn't pick up on a gift per se that somebody's going to hand it over to you, let's say birthday or something like that, even though that can mean exactly that. But it almost looks like that based on our actions, that based on our reactions, that we are going to get rewarded. And it's absolutely wonderful. But it could mean literally that if you're wondering about a partner coming through, they will come through, and they'll come through in a big way. So this is really important. So good to see. So that's Aquarius. So who do I go with next? And you know, guys, what I did, Barbie, was like, well, I want to really upload this and I want to put these pins, but for some reason it's saying it's not there, because this new software, it doesn't stop through this OBS software that I'm using. I have to click end stream. So you probably heard, guys, everything that is going on here, me packing up Tiger and leaving with him, and luckily we left. So unless you heard cats, I mean, that's what was happening here. So I will try to remember to end stream over here. So who do I do next? Next, let's do Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're next. Sagittarius. Ooh, Sagittarius, your cards are jumping out, and you have Seven of Cups as well as Aquarians had. Any connection? Some dreams that were not fulfilled, or something connecting to Aquarius, but you have Judgment. That's one of the karma cards. Look at how beautiful this card is. It's kind of like this vortex of energy. It's coming in, not so much out, coming in. So have you been good, my dear Saggies? Because this is time of reckoning. This is major. And Page of Swords is like, it can be brutal. Page of Swords, unless you're an air sign, it's not the greatest thing to see, because Page of Swords is like right in your face. You know, like, I mean, it would be Tyler Starrow kind of like a thing. Somebody who's angry, somebody who is obnoxious, and yet somebody who doesn't really know much. So hence, you know, this person has this like narcissism and biggest idea about who they are and how they go about it. At the same time, I think there is like time for like ends, tying loose ends, something that actually has to happen. Judgment card, and I keep in mind that this is like only upright, so I have to give you also the reversed, meaning that can happen. Judgment is always saying kind of like at this time, we are going to reassess what you did, how you did it, where we will go. Maybe you're going to face somebody who is going to be right in your face, or maybe it's going to be an argument of some sort. Maybe you're going to be told that you really don't know what you're doing, that you have some options, and why do you have options? It could be quite a bit of the blow up, guys, because something is brewing and something needs to stop. Because not only this card indicates sort of like some kind of closure, but this card indicates kind of like together, this is like 27, and 27 is 9. So 9 is this finale. And in finale, what is happening is like, if you have been good, you're going to be rewarded. And then maybe you will need to speak your truth, and you're going to kind of like lay your kind of like projections and whatever you want down. Or it could mean, look at this, like Sapphie's little steps everywhere. Or it could mean that it's being kind of like directed toward you. Any Sagittarians over here, guys? Anybody here? Oh yeah, Kylie is a Sagittarius, so she can tell me what's going on. Like this little kind of like this notorious coding on this table shows every single thing, and Sapphie just left her mark. So let me see. I want to see here. I want to see the second part. So 3 cards also came through. So, oh, this is Sagittarius. This is you. It's Temperance card. And it's coming basically within your reading. So it's basically saying it's all is well. Love-wise, look at this. This is the Queen of Wands. This could mean another fire sign. Generally, she represents Leo. And then we have 3 of Swords. It is really interesting because these cards are also telling a story. They're almost like a movie mock-up, where in the movie you have all the scenes that you're kind of like really watching, right? So look at this. She is basically mesmerized with this guy, and they're like completely in this particular deck, not really focusing on what they're doing, because they're like something else that is really going on. But yet still Temperance really talks about the balance of the things. In this particular deck, the previous one was the guy heading toward her with roses and candies, and you can tell, oh, this is basically a day after. His hat is down here, his stick and his flowers are here, and she's in her dreams about everything that was going on. She's the queen. So it's really important for her to be kind of like exalted. So is this you guys, or is there somebody in your life who kind of like wants to have this position? Now, it looks to me here that, you know, somebody is not going to tolerate a rival. Somebody is going to say this is what they want. Somebody feels their pride has been, you know, affected for some reason, and this balance that was supposed to be here is not really there. So there is going to be that iffy thing, how to go about that. It's kind of like Aquarian energy or air energy. I see fire, I see air over here, which is really important. This is like really strong reading, guys. I can't even start telling you. It's strong because something will happen this week. It's almost polarizing, I would say, because whenever the Temperance shows up, Temperance talks about, okay, I want this, but somebody else is saying, no, this cannot happen, right? Saying what they're talking about, of course it can happen, right? So Temperance is usually, quote unquote, marrying the 2 opposite ends, like fire and water, right? It's saying it's possible. And maybe there's like somebody who's saying, look, you know, let's make it work. Maybe you guys had an issue with someone and didn't know how to go forward, right? So it's kind of like almost some kind of like art of adapting if you really wish, which kind of like is very useful in love, especially in love life, right? However, this really takes lots of compassion, and it's empathy about somebody else, and it's a card clearly about healing. And yet there's like somebody who is just like into his or her own world. This is, after all, kind of like generic reading, so it's kind of like good to take this in account, right? Because as I said, this is some kind of house of pleasure. She could be madam or something, this particular deck, right? So talking about this compassion and empathy over here, but here we see passion and loyalty, right? And it's almost like something that could be secretive, right? But I also feel there's like something about a friend or some sort of companion, or there's somebody who is going to be helping you on some kind of level, or helping somebody there, because after all you're going right into the stores, and this is sort of like almost like feels like something has been fixed, right? Somebody really didn't necessarily fight back or cannot fight back, right? So something could be ending, and or alternatively it can talk about doubt, or it can talk about betrayal, or somebody's lying literally over here, right? So keep in mind that also when this card shows up, that means you know, whenever you have the pain, like whenever you feel pain, and if somebody will feel pain, I'm sorry to say, or loss, that means that heart is open. That means it can feel a little bit raw, and that would make sense with this Page of Swords. It's going to be some conversation or some kind of like finding, oh, that's not going to make somebody happy. So let me look into this, right? Let me see. So visit. I don't know if you guys expecting some kind of like visit. And it's again, I'm seeing here, it could be something that opens the heart, but it could be also something spiritual that kind of like truly kind of like gets through. And let's see this one, letter. It might be through communication that is not necessarily face-to-face. It could be some kind of like information that is via email, that is via text. We generally don't get letters anymore. Yes, it's arriving right to your doorstep. It's coming to information to either to you or to your family about something, and that somebody is going to feel, well, we need to kind of like shake things up. So yeah, sorry Sagittarius, I didn't have much better, but Judgment card over there means that some clarity needs to be reached. You need to kind of like turn a new leaf, and hence whatever is kind of like still on the pile, like all these bills that you need to sort it out, all things, that's what you'll be doing during this period. Okay, so who do I pick next? Let's pick Cancer. All right, Cancer. This just was random pick. Cancer. Cancer. Any Cancer over here? I need to get a sip of my tea. Ooh, this one wants to come out. Ooh, you're getting 10 of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. You know, I found the old photograph of me. It's kind of like talking about this Mercury retrograde, how this really works out. I found the old photograph of me and my ex, the one that I was married to. I had more than one exes. I know it's a good thing. Look at this. You have the moon. This is you. It's in your house, which means, well, even though in tarot it usually represents Pisces. Then you have a 5 of Swords, but this one also wanted to come out, illumination. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is like unique to this deck. I didn't even realize. And of course, it must be a little kitty on the bottom. So let me grab this. So as I was cleaning through my stuff, and I'm trying to organize my thing and my shelves, and I have way too much stuff, and then I wanted to throw away half of it, and then I realized I can't. Then I said, well, wait a minute, these cookbooks, they're like really looking nice, but I'm really not using them. Let's trash them out anyway. And then I found a whole bunch of like old photographs, right? So it was one photograph from the old days, and I don't know if I want to show you. I guess I can show you. And can this go? Yeah. So this is me and my ex, who ended up being my hubby. So I sent him this. This is like obviously old photograph. It is like we were playing cards in my friend's apartment. And there it goes. I sent it to him. He's Cancer. Keep this in perspective. Cancer with Aries ascendant. And I see on WhatsApp, oh, he saw it. He kind of like saw it with no response, and thinking, okay, it's one of those things. Maybe he felt, well, whatever, it's intrusion of his privacy. I don't know what's going on in his life. And then, like, I think 7 days, 10 days later, he just kind of like comments, Brangelina. So that was like really, really funny. So anyway, this is homage to him, and whoever he's with, wish him well. Okay, so look at this. We have the star, so he is thinking about me, or he has Aquarius in his life. But there's like somebody who is going through breakup or betrayal of some sort, or they feel the Aquarius betrayed them. I'm pretty sure he feels that. But then we have the Knight of Swords. Love energy is feeling a little bit off, I really have to say. While you do have hopes for somebody or something, there are lots of things happening in your life where you are kind of like teetering between, should I communicate things or should I not communicate things? And that's basically also shown here through this moon thing. It looks like your life is going well for the most part. Your life, 10 of Pentacles, it means that maybe you're being homebody recently. Maybe you're kind of like feeling, I'm feeling good in my position at work. I'm feeling good with my mother, with my father, with my siblings. You're making those phone calls. You're kind of really feeling connected. 10 of Pentacles is that thing. And also it feels like very structured. It also feels like the people who I really want to let and invite in my life going forward need to kind of like fit into the structure, right? Because you are very important. It's very important to you because you're also very sensitive. And that sensitivity can be easily violated when, let's say, the right people do not arrive, right? And here we see these like two doggos barking at the moon. Over here, the moon is like, however, entering a little layer of confusion. So we have a 17 and we have 18 over here. So you have three major arcanas, right? And Five of Swords talks about that struggle, and it is some kind of, I would feel in your case, an internal struggle. Because moon also can talk about a relationship, or not necessarily a love relationship, because I see this more as a romantic kind of thing, to romantic deck, but it could mean this. Or it can talk about illusion, that you're fooling yourself, that maybe somebody is pulling all the tricks, somebody is like super sexy, super romantic, super nice. You cannot like point a finger at anything, but yet you are not feeling it, yet something is really oddly off. And that's maybe why Five of Swords is showing up, because Five of Swords is usually about setting boundaries and about instead of like deciding it's all of us against the enemies, so it's like two of us against the world, it's rather a decision, no, I need to kind of like contain or protect myself. And almost like for you guys, this could be one of those, I need to go back, you know, backwards, and I need to kind of like have this time for myself. Because it looks like to me that you're recharging your batteries. There's like lots of things happening in your life, and you really need to sort things out over here, right? But it clearly tells me that you're in a position of, that you're in charge, that you know what you're doing. You know how you really want to go about that, right? So there's also lots of sexual energy, guys, over here. So this could mean that you're very attracted to someone, or even at work, that maybe let's say you're making good money, but you are not necessarily following through with, let's say, the right things to do, or maybe you know on some level this is BS or something, but you're still going forward because it suits you, you're making money, or the partner right now is satisfactory. It could be a million and one thing over here. So it's almost like weird. On the surface it's going to look like everything is great, but below the surface is going to feel like not. And it's almost like you're not communicating what you need to communicate. And hello, Cancer, you need to do that. So I actually really want to get a few cards over here to see what's going on. So for this Five of Swords, look, it's sadness and enemy. Enemy generally to me can mean that there is somebody else that maybe you think your partner is with, or it simply could mean, because this is more or less a general part, that we are very protective of your work, of yourself or something. And that's why you feel that maybe you shouldn't be protective, maybe you feel it's time to move on, but you're not ready. So hence you're still protecting your fort if you wish, right? But it's kind of like feeling like a big effort for you, and that's why this card showed up, which kind of like looks very jagged, where things are out of their, you know, space, and you need to have this cohesive kind of look at things. And then here we have money and officer. I don't know, that somebody wants to commit. I mean, money and officer, it's very official. It's somebody who's holding secrets, or their secrets. I mean, 10 of Swords in a regular deck is really talking like, or showing the person being stabbed with 10 swords on it, but not here. He is actually giving her blue rose. Is she dead? We don't know. We cannot tell. But blue rose, as far as I remember about the interpretation, it's the rose of forgiveness, or don't forget me not, right? But it can be both happening. So interestingly, this is showing up. Somebody is maybe devastated because maybe their higher deals have been not appreciated, and somebody's maybe moving on towards something, or maybe this person was a sweet secret, and that's a secret that is really, really heavily guarded. You don't want to tell anybody. And why is this that you don't want to tell anybody? Why is this like this officer is really showing up over here, right? So it clearly also could mean involvement in legal issues of some sort, but not divorce, not any like that. It could be maybe that you have so much on your mind that you are not able to fully dedicate to things that you need to do about this relationship. And yet this is what is needed this week. You need to communicate certain things, guys. So don't fall asleep on the switch. Okay, so it's going to be very, very important over here. All right. My gosh, I'm getting really complicated choices today. So let me have a sip over here. Who do I pick next? Who do I pick next? Let's pick Aries. Usually you guys go to the back. So let's go forward. So let's see what you guys say. Oh, Kylie is more or less seeing the reading is showing her all energies, but then there is a reason, I guess, because we are going into Mercury retrograde, that those all energies are showing up for one reason, right? Look at Creative Girl is here, nice to see. And Sally says, feels like a glove for my situation. Ouch, 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 ouch. So Chris, I guess you say whoa, so I guess Cancer was something important. Thank you, Lorna, very, very sweet for wishing me birthday. So Aries, I can be on 37:45. Barbie has to make sense of this. So you have 8 of Swords. It was like with Aquarians as well. And then King of Chalices. You want something, guys. Oh my gosh. You want to get out of some situation. You feel that something has happened which blocked you of some emotion, right? Imagine you're here behind these swords and you're seeing these people having this party. Like you see, we have a fish, so it could be Pisces, or could be, you know, this kind of like soft place to fall. Is there somebody who is no longer your rock, who is no longer your friend? Because 3 of Cups to me is this ultimately Aquarius kind of thing, right? Could be some kind of like no comunicado kind of like situation over here, where this Mercury retrograde that is going to start is going to really, really pressure you, especially in this particular week, to communicate to someone, to deal with someone. This King of Cups is almost like, could be a therapist, could be a person. It is somebody who truly knows you and who truly understands you, even the dirtiest, the ugliest parts of you, the ones that you hate the most. But this person is not judging. This person is saying, no, come, here, just talk to me. And you feel that you're hitting home. but there is a blockage. So if you're going to clarify this blockage and to see why is this happening, that's really, really interesting here. This Eight of Swords can talk about like somebody's not contacting you, and there is always a reason for that, right? Because you may have done something to push this person on a limb, or this person in a situation that they have to deal, or they're dealing with things on their own. And look at look at this. You have the Eight of Wands, and then you have Five of Wands. So I do have to say, and I think this is what came through, that in terms of love life, you're not going to have many issues. So hence, this is more or less sexuality and kind of like going nuts. Maybe you guys had some really good Valentines. It almost looks like somebody was in a really, really big hanky-panky, and she's saying, okay, wake up, it's time for the next round, kind of a thing over here. But it's really interesting that he is bringing these flowers, and people were really romantic about this kind of like seduction. So in romance terms, it looks like you're getting what you need, but not necessarily that you're getting what you want. I feel there is like, I mean, strong sense that some shift needs to take place. And I've forgotten this angel cards for the other two. Let me see what we get over here. We have celebration. Because this looks like a party. It looks like it's a whole bunch of things going on. But it's working more or less in one level. It's working in action, like doing things, which is good. You're recharging your batteries. Aquarius transition is really important for you because it's almost like last preparation. And then you go through Pisces transition, where we are heading in a few days, plus Mercury retrograde, where it's going to be a big emotional part that's going to open up. And it's going to be this big understanding about this. But in the meantime, this week, it looks like with your loved ones, if you don't have one, you might really literally hook up with someone. And it's going to be party and celebrations and getting this out of your system. But also, at the same time, you almost like going to separate these two things. It's going to be a much bigger goal. This is where I'm heading. That's where I'm going. And I want to check this Eight of Swords. Also, enemy, like who is your enemy, and what is it you're feeling is coming from behind, or what is it you're feeling is hidden, that somebody you feel that somebody cast you out. Okay, let me put it this way. That's kind of like came through really, really quickly, baby. It has been something that is like not just that happened. This is something that has been going on for a while. And as a result, you know, it maybe could have been some kind of immaturity. It could have been that something hasn't been discussed. It needs to take shape yet. And this is pretty much situation to be continued. But clearly, look at this vortex of emotion. You are being prevented of being there. And let me see one more card in between. It might be communication. It might be some kind of resolution about some issues. So if this is work, guys, maybe you're feeling stuck in a rut. Maybe you're feeling stuck in a situation. Maybe you want to get out of the situation, and you want to find something that is more meaningful, that you love better, you love more. Maybe you feel people are backstabbers at work. And this is really interesting because it's going to be some communication on that level this particular week. So, but I think your week is going to be really focused sort of like in the immediate versus the long term. It's going to feel like that you are with a partner, but you're going to be like, I need something else, that kind of stuff, that kind of feeling that's going to be very prevalent going on. Okay, sip of tea. Any suggestions or sign you want me to go with next? I know I have to wait for you guys to get back to me. So, unless I get it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll decide. and the next one will be Virgo. So let's go with Virgo. What's going on with Virgo? You guys are all quiet. Do you have any idea how cold is in Toronto? Ooh, look at this. You got the Lovers reversed. Oh, that's because you reversed the entire deck. And I'm looking, this card's only upright. Ooh, you have the Lovers, you have the Sun, and you have Four of Cups. Oh my freaking God. Everything is given to you, and you still think, I'm not so sure. No, you're sure. You want to take this one. This is freaking really, really important. Guys, don't let me come down there like I'm gonna shake you up. This is absolutely awesome. The Lovers is this choice, and the Sun. Somebody might propose. Somebody might really say all the right things. For the people who are in a relationship, things are going to improve greatly. And so I'm getting suggestions now. I guess I didn't wait long enough, so I'm going to do Libra and Gemini next. So I don't know, Virgo, if you're involved with Leo, if you're involved with Gemini, or if this is simply talking about Mercury retrograde. It can bring certain things from the past. It's going to be super exciting. It's going to be super loving as part of a general reading that can really talk about that you're going to shine. You're going to be the star. And yet, it's Four of Cups is really talking about, hey, you have everything, but you're longing for something that you don't have. You guys literally need to, this week, focus on what you have, enjoy it, because something is fantastic going on, and you might be completely distracted, going in different direction, thinking about different directions. So don't allow distractions. That is going to be really, really difficult, right? So we are going to check why this Four Cups showed up and what is like the energy behind this. Commitment. Did I not tell you? Somebody may propose. This is going to feel really serious. And this can be at work, that somebody's going to give you more work obligations, which means more money. You might get promotion. And it's going to feel like really great that you're shining bright. It also can mean this in terms of relationships, because the Sun can also talk about pregnancy and somebody's getting pregnant. And look at this, like this Ten of Swords that came here as well. Ooh. And then we have the Queen of Cups. Oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous in this particular deck. And the Magician. So again, it's almost the opposite when it comes to relationships. Something maybe had to be resolved. It's kind of interesting. We have this energy of 10, which is kind of like, okay, we had this hurdle and now we are clearing this. So now I know what have to happen. So it is about some kind of forgiveness, I would say, in this particular situation, because Queen of Cups is a really good thing to have. And I look at this situation. Mind you, I do have to tell you that Magician is a bachelor. And it's really interesting that the Magician is really showing up here. But I really think, look at this, Bachelor is staring at her. He's mesmerized. She's taking off her mask. And he's telling her, oh my gosh, you're truly magical. We can make things happen together. It almost like in this situation, it looks like she is putting the charms on him. And it was something that has been going on. It's almost like it's two of them over here, and that blue color is transferring over here. But I think somebody's going to sweep you off to your feet with passion, with sincerity. And it also could mean bringing the old stuff, old love, in your case, good things. So don't feel, oh no, I don't know if I really want to do it. Something is happening in your life that needs to happen, that is going to kind of like recharge your love battery, that is going to recharge your appreciation battery. I know you're not a sign general, unless you're narcissistic, that likes to kind of like be in the spotlight, but that's exactly what you will be in the spotlight. And if you're a woman, you are going to basically name what you want, and it's kind of like ask and it shall be given, and it's going to be happening like this. So do not think about the past. Do not think about, oh no, something's going to happen again, because people sometimes are burned and then something really good happens, and excuse me, and then they feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should be going on. Look at this, love and marriage. Like, I mean, Oh my God, Virgo. I want to hear from this, like everything, commitment, love, and marriage. This is like showing up here as well. So it maybe could be that you guys have been dealing with someone who was saying, okay, I don't know. I had a client. I didn't hear from her in a while. I don't know if she's listening. And she was saying, oh my gosh, I proposed to my boyfriend and he's acting weirdly. He said no, and did I lose him? And I was looking at the cards. And I was thinking, like, I'm seeing something like this, but if I tell her that he's going to propose, then, you know, how will she take it or something? But I said to her, like, after all, you know that I always tell the truth what I see. I said, well, you know, I think, you know, things are going to work out for you. I mean, just stick around kind of a thing, and I think he'll come around within a week. Oh my God, he proposed. So it was like freaking lovely, and I was like so happy when people like that actually work things out. So let me see this Four of Cups. Yeah, this is misfortune. Something might happen. Why is this misfortune connected with a priest or with religion? Are you dealing with somebody who is maybe not, and that would make sense, maybe dealing with somebody who is missing something, or maybe because you're earth sign, you like things to be kind of like proper. So maybe somebody's not the same religion as you are, or there's like something that is really off, and you need this to be resolved before you move forward. But things are resolving for you, and almost like in a magical way. So guys, I know that you guys are very analytical, but this, at this time, this can really get in the way. You're making it too big of a deal, let's put it this way, and it is you that I see it here. So just enjoy it, guys, and you can really surrender to this energy, because this energy is absolutely freaking lovely. So it is really, really nice. So I'm sorry, I need to cough again. It's kind of like still tickling me when I talk. So Barbie, do we do pick a card? Like, I mean, just quickie ones, because I need to be out in an hour. I'm going out with a couple of friends for cakes, and I'm wondering if we have time for pick a card. Okay, let's do it. Which deck I want to do it? It's going to be just yes or no, right? I'm not. Oh, I can do it without yes or no. Let's grab these cards here. Levelin. Okay. So I need to shuffle without you guys seeing me shuffle. So let me see. Pick a card. I need to cover this up somewhere. I don't even know where I put it. It's here. Okay, guys, think of a question. And I'm going to pick 3 cards. One is already jumping out. So I have a door number 1, I have door number 2, and I have door number 3. So let me show you over here. And so which card did you guys pick? So if you pick card number 1, or card number 2, or card number 3, so you had a question, specific question. So let's see. Here you have the Tower. That is not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. Something here is being built without realizing that you're not building this on the right foundation. Whenever the Tower shows up, it's kind of like this moment where it kind of like shocks you, and when you kind of like sober up and you're coming to this presence, oh, I didn't realize that. Ooh, I better watch it. That kind of like stuff. So it might happen later, but not this week, and you might be unpleasantly surprised and kind of like taken out of your comfort zone and need to do something else. Door number 2, I think you guys ask for somebody to come through, for something to work out, to maybe somebody to propose even. I would say I would like to see what you guys ask. You don't have to give exact question, but kind of like general, because this answer is yes, and it means that somebody's coming through and it's excited about that, and it's really excited about thinking of this thing as a long-term solution, and it feels really, really right. And the door number 3, ooh, 5 of Cups. No, there's going to be some kind of disappointment. And usually when this card shows up, it's usually saying you're actually not, this question is not in your best interest. You have something else. That's why he has these 2 cups behind his back that you need to pay attention to, because maybe you're intrigued with some glamour, with some glitter, and that's kind of like the focus of your attention, and that's why they're like this big emotional component. But there's somebody else there who is really, really good for you. So this is asking you to have a little bit of 360, a little bit of turnaround in your affairs, a little bit of turnaround in what you're doing, right? So this is kind of like really important thing for you guys to comprehend. So it's going to be just a group number 2 that is going to go forward this particular time. You're welcome, Knitting Yogi. So Kylie was number 3. Oh, who picked number 2? Anybody pick number 2? Oh, Sally, it's cold in Michigan. It was so cold yesterday. I went for a walk with Tiger, and he was like lifting his little paws from the snow. I said, that's it. You're going to daycare. It was like minus 22 Celsius. I think I looked up yesterday how much is this in Fahrenheit. It was minus 4. This is really, really cold. It's not much warmer today. But for my birthday, it's usually cold or snow. So that's kind of like normal thing. So next one is going to be Taurus. Taurus, let's see what I have here for you. It's not my ex coming back, not a good idea. Taurus, you have, well, did I twist it? I guess. Yes, you have 6 of Wands and the Empress, and the Empress card is you. It's interesting how many signs are getting their own cards, right? So Cancer had their own, who else had their own? I think quite a few, like, so that really means that you're going to feel comfortable. And then it's the Wheel of Fortune coming through, which is, again, 2 majors, and this is like one of these karmic cards showing through. But look at this, 6 and 3 is 9, and 10 is 19, and this is like 1 and 9 is 10. So this is, again, something is finishing and something is starting forward. 6 of Wands is like this card of victory, this card of picking up the fruits, feeling accomplished. This, guys, is going to be extremely powerful time for you. Something that is going to take you in a new phase, which is going to be very favorable. So you need to know what to let go, but you also need to have what they call a crown on your head. You need to keep this advantage. You need to keep this momentum going. And it's going to be very, very important. It's going to be also something that you need to leave behind. And when you leave things behind, you're not going to really regret them. But it's going to take this step to kind of like push toward forward. So Mel, you ask about surgery, about 2. Everything's going to work out well. You're going to have a good surgeon, and who is going to do extremely exquisite job. So nothing to freaking worry about that. Sorry, Taurus. Answer the questions as they come along. And so what do we have here? So we have 5 of Pentacles, but look at here. It's like, I mean, clear debauchery over here. Nothing wrong about it. Like, I mean, Valentine. But then we have the King of Wands over here. And 7 of Cups. This is also the energy of Venus that I am actually seeing over here. So you guys are going to be, it's really interesting. You want to be seduced. You want to be, you want to have good conversation. Like King of Wands, I don't know if it's a fire sign coming through. You have everything. You have fire, you have earth, and you have water coming through, which is really, really important. Like fire is really, really dominant over here, I really have to tell you. Which can talk about the fire sign, but this can also talk about that there is like fire coming through in your life, that there is like this new enthusiasm, a new motion toward something is going to work out, something's going to be fantastic. This king, if this person comes in your life, you're going to feel it's a breath of fresh air. It's somebody who wants to do things, somebody who don't have to wait forever for them to call you. In fact, they'll be very spontaneous, right? And you have is the Empress, and they're going to, you have the Empress, and you almost like, he almost looks like an emperor over here in this particular thing. Look at the amount of light that we have over here. So I really think, guys, you're moving toward a really new phase in your life where maybe you haven't defined entirely your emotional needs. It's like really nothing to clarify over here, to be honest with you. I can get an angel card, but at the same time, it's lots of flirting. I'm seeing lots of flirting, freedom, right? And so sometimes it's right in the open, sometimes it's more coy, but this is kind of like what is making things more like interesting. It's kind of like adding this little spice into everything. So keep in mind that this is a phase. Wheel of Fortune is a phase, and this phase that you are entering could last 10 days, and especially the 5th day, so we are talking about Wednesday, and the 7th day, Friday, could be very intriguing in terms of dating. So if you want to date, these are the days that you really can go and look for somebody, and could be like really finding like, I mean, that you're finding a good fit. You're finding there's like, I mean, a good response to who you are and what kind of like people you find. So Taurus, you literally have so far the best reading, like, I mean, where you're in the absolute control, people are putting you on a pedestal, and other people are coming toward you, basically worshiping you. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. So that's going to be cool. So what do I do next? I promised, sorry, I moved to Taurus, but I promised Gemini and Libra. I think Libra was asked first, so let's do Libra. So Libra, and Barbie is Libra. So let's see what's up, what's happening. Okay. Wow, we have Knight of Swords. This could be you. It could be like, no matter what comes, I am confident, I know what I want, I'll go in this direction. This is a really good card when it comes for an air sign. Then we have Seven of Swords. And you see, he is just positioning all of these things for somebody to be trapped into it. So this tells me, Libra, that you feel maybe you're going to get trapped into it for once, but there's like something moving to the next level, and it's really, really hard to interpret that, because you know how I was saying previously that other signs kind of like had their own card coming through. Well, your card is sort of like hidden in here, right? 7 and 4 is 11, which is your card of justice. But it looks to me you might actually be angry. I don't like this card. 7 of Swords is never a good card. But look at this dude's face. I don't know if you can see it over here. He is setting a trap. Somebody's setting a trap for you in order to glorify themselves. For once, it's like generally kind of like moving in a new direction. But some kind of justice will be served, guys, this particular week. Something is happening behind your back. Maybe you want certain things to move forward, and they can't because of something that has happened or is happening. It's almost like unbeknownst to you over here. So maybe you're defending yourself on one hand and looking up, and hence you're not seeing what else is happening. Look at this. This is the same scene. You're kind of like completely unaware of this, and yet you really want to get to this clarity, to this energy. It's almost like impossible because you're being blocked over here for one reason. Kylie, I have been seeing 111s. It's really weird. My car had like, I mean, 5 ones on odometer, right? And then license plates 111s everywhere, which means that angels are there for you, right? But it's kind of like really interesting that you're saying this, because I did it as well. So many cards came through in love life. So you have, this is your card, talking about your card coming through. I told you it came through here. It's coming through here now. So this is you as well. Queen of Swords, but this could be also Aquarius. So it's Wheel of Fortune. And then you have a King of Swords. You might, do you have somebody, guys? If you do, this is going to start feeling really right. And is going to, oh my goodness, like look at this, Aquarius is showing up here as well. So here we have the Seven of Wands, and then we have the Star. So why do you have the Seven? There's something brewing. So you either have an Aquarius who is doing something behind your back, or you have Aquarius with whom you are trying to make things work. There's clearly this energy, this Libra and Aquarius energy, almost like a bookends over here, because I'm seeing that in terms of relationships, guys, let's say if you have somebody, that relationship is going to feel really, really good. It's going to get in the situation where, you know, you kind of like really know where you are, what you want to have. And if somebody is going left or right, you say, no, just come and do this, kind of like enjoy this. The Wheel of Fortune is always this excitement of something moving forward, something moving in a new direction, right? But interestingly for me, both in the general part and in the love part, that you're getting this 11s. And it's weird because Kyle and I were talking about 11, so it's 11, 11 that we are seeing over here, right? But it's going from 11 to 10, so it's kind of like step back to something, to some kind of solidity. This is a really good match when we have a Queen of Swords and King of Swords. So that can be either that you have another air sign, as I said, it could be Aquarius or Gemini, even though it can be also another Libra from what I see. And also it could mean that something, it's almost like I'm seeing here, even though this is a really good card, but it can mean like something is happening in shadows. So I'm having this eerie feeling, and that's because of Seven of Swords. And then we had another 7 showing up here, that just watch your back. I would just say this: you have abundance and you have contentment, which is really, really good. So I think ultimately things are going to really end well for you. It's not going to be anything that you need to worry, but you need to be ready and prepared to leap into action if something like that is needed. But I think on a romantic level, it's going to feel, things are going to feel right. Things are going to feel that you really want to go in the next phase with the person that you have, because it's at this stage, maybe you have been dating lots of people. Now you're kind of like going into this commitment phase, how you want to do, and you kind of like starting to dream. Some of you, this also can mean marriage, guys. It can mean moving in of some kind of like sort. And it also could be that somebody was literally away and that you really needed to, you wanted to reunite, and this is happening right now. And that's maybe what all this kind of like background situation that is like really talking to me over here simply means. It's so much to say, so much to talk about that absence or whatever it was, right? So that's going to be interesting feeling. I want to see the 7 of Swords over here. Have had that feeling too, Cat. You see, it's really interesting that you are having Death card, visit death. Maybe somebody, maybe something has been arranged, that has been cancelled, and Mercury retrograde, that's what really happens. That card is not a great card. And again, like I'm clarifying the 7 of Swords. Something will happen. Somebody is going to be somewhere. Whether you are going to visit a place, we're going to be lots of words. I really hope nobody's getting imprisoned over here, because something is not going well. It's not going to go well, let's say midweek. But then toward the end of the week, things are going to really look up. So I'm not seeing something like a permanent thing over here, but I do see that certain things will get tricky in the middle of the week. So just open all your eyes and watch your back over here. But that's more or less just in a general sense. I think your relationship and love things, which is kind of like really important for a sign, flattery, and if you are with somebody discussing where this is going, things are going to do really, really well on that end. So that's really, really important. So, and the next one, I promise, is Gemini. So, Gemini. You have Ace of Pentacles and you have Justice. So there it is, 111. Kylie, you just told us. Oh, look at this. Lorna is also seeing this. So I think these are messages possibly coming through for all of us. It's one-on-one is needed. But look at this. Cutting this cord and cutting the snake that is biting you, that is kind of bleeding. But the snake can still bite even after this, except it's not going to be forever. It's really interesting. Ace of Pentacles is like about this lovely ace, where it's like something for something talking about long term, and somebody's really feeling justified. Somebody really feels things are really working out for me right now. I'm going in a good direction. Justice card, whenever shows up, it can mean one of the two things. If it's up or down, and in this particular thing I'm interpreting is both, right? When it's up, it means I need to get what I need, not what I want, right? Because if you sue somebody, for example, you want as much as you can, but you're not going to get it, most likely, right? If it's reversed, it means it's a karma card, that something is out of balance, that you have been either receiving too much or that you haven't been getting much. So this is now showing, and you're getting this understanding that this is out of balance, and you're like really almost like frantically trying to get in balance, trying to go back on your path. But given that this is combination with Ace of Pentacles, I more or less feel that this is in a positive way, that you maybe resolve certain things. You're kind of like maybe cutting off the loose ends, maybe cutting off things that need not happen. This, in terms of, let's say, career and work, something going on, it could mean a new start. It could mean that you had an obstacle that you needed to resolve, and now there is clarity, and you're feeling okay. It's not only temporarily kind of like solution, it's not a band-aid, but it's a permanent solution, and it kind of like really feels good that way. So let's see, you have 9 of Cups in terms of romance, then you have Knight of Pentacles, and then you have the Sun. So again, these two cards together can mean marriage, and can be marriage proposals. And I think this is a new thing, that people don't do it on Valentine's, they do it before or after. Just simply balance. That's the balance here as well. Are you guys dating Libra or Leo? If not, I'm seeing very strong earth and water. And of course, this also could mean air and fire, so then it would be all. But these are really prominent over here. So this is really talking about comfort with someone, and hence that would really make sense. It could actually talk about absolutely amazing relationship with your children, or anything that you feel that you kind of like set on the path, which could mean at work, sort of like you had a project and now the project is going on and it's revolving properly, etc., right? So in this particular case, I feel that this is really interesting, because look at this, he's like singing and collecting money. But to me, this is the ultimate card of friendship. This Knight of Pentacles to me is that dude who is always there, and you're never sure, hey, what's going on here? Like, are you there for me, with me, or what is going on, right? So with this kind of dude, it's almost like that kind of like officer and gentleman kind of a thing, right? And it could be that, you know, somebody else is keeping your place that you have to do, but I really also think that, you know, that certain things will be going in a great direction here for you. I also feel that there's an opportunity that you need to seize. Maybe there was like something that was like hidden, and let's say kind of like, let's not go public with it, and now it's going in a full light, because look at this, now 2 of them are coming together. A very different card for the Sun here. So it's not a child, they're adults, and everything is great except that they have umbrellas. So they're like sort of like, umbrellas are probably a good thing. So they are walking into this commitment fully knowing it's for the good and for the bad. This almost looks like it's a prince, and this almost looks like it's a beggar. So this is a very strong and very grounded energy of some sort. But oh my God, you guys are going to have absolutely fantastic week. And if you feel that something you need to kind of push out of your life, that is done for a reason. This is like absolutely karmically stepping in and resolving that, or moving things forward for you, and it's meant to happen. So it's very, very important. So okay, let me just blow my nose. I want to stop being sick. It's not fun. So Pisces. Pisces. 10s are immediately at the same time completions and a new start. So when you're dealing with 10, it's almost like graduating high school. So yes, you finished something, but it's also a new phase happening at the same time. So it goes together. So good explanation, Kylie. Pisces. Pisces, Pisces, and Pisces. So we are dealing with 9 of Pentacles. Justice again, Karma card over here, and 4 of Swords. Pisces, what's going on? Are you getting tired of some sort situation? Why is the 4 of Swords over here? What is he doing in this particular deck? He's looking at the wind, and look at this, the Temperance is underneath. So your card didn't come here through, but what instead came through is like the underlying energy of the Devil. So maybe you guys going through a situation where you're feeling great comfort about where you are at. Maybe you don't want to allow new people coming through. Maybe you don't want to rock the boat. Like 9 of Pentacles means I'm just happy where I am. I just really love all of you, but also when I close my door, I'm really happy there, and I really don't want to deal with this, right? So to me, 9 of Pentacles would mean that also you're maybe doing pedicure and manicure in that sense. But if this is, let's say, work situation, if this is talking about career, then I think some money is coming through, whether this is a bonus of some sort, or maybe some project is getting finalized and now you're feeling this strong ability that, hey, things are being put together and you are kind of like almost like looking on the top. And hence, maybe because of that, you end up being completely utter exhausted, right? Because the 4 of Swords is like, everybody leave me alone, I just like need to sleep a little bit, right? So it's kind of like weird, right? Because the Justice is showing up here saying something really, really important will be happening. We are talking about midweek, guys, and 11th is behind us, so it could be even in 11 days happening from now on. And this is almost karmic. It is karmic, so it's not much that you can influence. And there is a Hermit, which is the same thing, and this 6 of Wands over here. You're so feeling, you're really feeling, and look at this, this is the 8 of Swords. You guys are not going to allow many people come in your life. You are going to be very protective. Maybe you have been engaged in something that took lots of energy, because look at this. This is clearly this victory coming through. This is clearly talking about strategy, like you're having these 2 9s over here, right? So here is talking about this illumination where you are like taking the center stage, when you are kind of like succeeding greatly. But this is 4 of Swords. This is 8 of Swords. Each of these cards individually is also talking about leave me freaking alone. And here, don't call me, don't text me, I'll call you when I'm done. I'm picking up on energy of complete exhaustion. And why is this, guys? Happy birthday to Pisces, because in a few days is going to be your time, and it looks like this first out of the gate Pisces energy is going to be a little bit subdued. And it could be possibly because of that energy from Mercury, because Mercury in Pisces generally talks about all of these emotions, everything that didn't work right. So this PTSD that most of us experience at one point or another, something that triggers you, that it kind of brings bad memories and so, "Oh, I don't know if I want to move forward," because that means A, B, C, and D can be a little bit more kind of like pushing it forward, right? So that's kind of like something that can be happening as well over here. So let's see what guidelines you have. Flexibility. That's right, guys. If you need sleep, and also I wanted to say you have the Hangman. So don't forget to look at things from a different perspective. You are moving forward, and like the finale of the week is going to be, I just need to be left alone, and maybe somebody else is going to say this to you, just, you know, I have to skip a little bit, I need to get to myself. So this flexibility is simply saying, don't take it seriously, don't take this as something against you if somebody else is saying this to you, and also if somebody else is kind of like in this energy that you know, you're telling them and they start feeling, I don't know, upset about that, then it's also for you to let them know, look, it's just what it is, I'm just exhausted, I just need to recharge my batteries. Just kind of like, is it a big deal? And come on. Or it could be one of those energies where you're going to just invite somebody to have popcorn and watch the movie at home and go with that. By the way, talking about movies, your sign rules movies, so we are going through Pisces, which is going to mean that we'll be going through all these transitions that will be exciting for all of us, but it's going to be a lot about illusion, a lot about dreaming, but those dreams are not necessarily translated into action. So that's when Aries comes, all of these dreams will be able to be kind of like really funneled through with a huge amount of energy. So what do I have? I have Capricorn, Scorpio, and Leo that I didn't read yet. So let's go with Capricorn. 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 The Lovers. And we'll be lovers. And let's be friends. You have the Moon. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a romantic time for Capricorn. I don't know, do you guys have Gemini or Pisces? Or is it simply giving, oh my gosh, but then is the Tower. Gemini, Pisces, Cancer, showing through, also Aries and Scorpio. You guys have three majors, but this is more or less a general part of the reading. So there are going to be some kind of choices, and Moon is also about choices. And it looks like you're going to pick the wrong one, and it almost looks like you just cannot pick the right choice over here. But nonetheless, in the meantime, it's going to feel fun. It's going to feel exciting, but maybe you need to kind of get grounded, because after all, Capricorn and Goat goes really, really high on the ledge, and it's going to the really highest heights, and that's why the Goats and Capricorn are the bringer of the kings, if you wish. But you're going to slip. You stepped on something that is very slippery. You'll find yourself in the darkness, and especially when we entered Pisces around the 18th, even though we entered 19, but around the 18th, something is going to really shake you up. And the end of the week, Thursday to Friday, especially Friday, will be very, very tricky for you, but it's also, yeah, Friday and the next Saturday can be very, very tricky for you. So I really want to clarify this Tower. Tower is always this jolt, and something didn't work out properly. You need to do it. Look at this, like we have this Nine of Wands over here. Nine of Wands is also about secrets and about people seeing certain things that you don't see, that people are probably looking at what you're doing, and instead of like directly communicating with you, they're saying you'll see. And maybe somebody is creating a situation where Moon is always, to me, connecting with jealousy. It's always connecting with situations that are not clear. Maybe you're not clarifying for someone, for either you don't think you need to clarify, but I would advise you to do, because we will see what this Tower does, and why is this Tower shaking everything up and getting a whole bunch of things over here. So you have Knight of Cups. See the Devil. Are you guys in a third-party relationship, or is there an old partner coming through for one more time kind of a thing, because that is like this Queen of Wands over here showing up as well. This is clearly romance, but it's clearly also romance of some sort that is maybe clandestine. It could be somebody who is married, it could be somebody who is otherwise engaged of some sort, because there's like this anticipation of something happening. So this is really connecting with Tower over here. Seven of Cups is about, you know, when you more or less know that certain things cannot happen, but you still kind of like lie down in bed and daydream about it, just like most of us daydream, for example, about lottery. But this is like now on emotional level. So he is kissing her hand over here, right? So just think about it. This is a party in the darkness of the night, right? So everything rather is subdued, and also we have the moon and the tower falling through this like kind of same flavor. So be very aware that you need light to kind of like show you like really where you need to go. There's like also something about being unique happening here, because somebody is completely in their head, but there are lots of people wearing masks, and that's the darkness about that. That's, I don't know if you're going to go into some kind of masquerades parties, because that's what's happening in Europe around this time of a year. And I believe in Rio de Janeiro, like, I mean, this is really the time for these big carnivals, and it could be like one of those things, like, I mean, hit and miss. This is really giving me a flavor of an affair. It's giving me a flavor of hookups, and something that is not going to necessarily land well, and it's going to be very sexual. Again, you're Capricorn, that doesn't really surprise me very much, but keep in mind that the devil is kind of like central over here as well with the moon. So maybe somebody's saying one thing and this is really absolutely not what's basically reality, because the moon is always altering reality. So somebody could be a good actress or actor, and somebody's a really good salesman. So you really are maybe going to just realize after the fact that this is what basically happened. But in the meantime, you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a party. It's going to be some issue. You just more or less need to understand there's going to be somebody behind your back. I don't know if you can see it here. The child seeing something. So, and she's quite angry about her dad kissing probably unknown woman. So it could be that somebody's pulling strings behind the background, or literally that could mean that you will have issues with your children. Usually when the devil's energy comes through, we are talking about clandestine affairs, we are talking about exes coming out of the woodwork, exes trying to dominate us, what we want, and kind of this does make sense around this time of a year. People, you know, have their emotional triggers and come through. So we'll see what happens with that. So Leo, let's go with Leo. Leo, you are next. Leo. Quick door question cat. Can we have a quick, let me do Leo and then we are going to do that since I already penciled it in. Leo. So 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups. It came reversed, but you know that I'm looking is up, and then 10 of Cups. This is really good, guys. You're getting the world coming through, and the world energy is the one of accomplishment, of finality, of feeling good about it, or starting something new, bridging some kind of gap. You might be meeting with friends. 3 of Cups is like usually Aquarium kind of like flavored opportunity, and then you also have a 10 of Cups. So this is 11 and this is 13. So it also could be a Libra and death, which could mean it's the ending of relationship, ending of marriage. but this kind of doesn't make sense when you really look at these cards. So it could be that you're resolving and finally something from the past is sorted away and you are feeling comfortable. You maybe have been working on yourself for quite a while. There is like Eight of Pentacles card is like a basically tending your garden. It is like looking that everything is okay. Maybe you had to go through the process. Maybe this process was 8 months at a minimum, but for some of you this process could be 21 months that has been going on, and now you're feeling that energy is great. Like you finally, the earth was torched and you had to remove all of these things, you had to replenish it, but now it feels you're ready, you're great, because look at this, they're like right here up there and like enjoying all of these chalices. So 10 is kind of like understanding I want, and you're like such a big romance sign, and this is really showing up. You might also have a Libra or a Scorpio coming through for you. So if you're doing Scorpio next, it's going to be really interesting to see that. But this also could mean is, for example, in terms of your job, in terms of your general reading, that you're getting some kind of like feeling of accomplishment. You are being pushed forward, you are being celebrated, you are feeling really comfortable, and the environment that you are in are people that you really like to be with, but also that you are very clear that even in that environment, the reason why it's feeling good is because you managed to remove people who shouldn't be there, and you isolate them or you minimize them, and hence you celebrate people with whom you get along. So hence you're building upon that positive energy. So this is really, really important over here. And let me see 3 more cards. So Creative Guru says divorcing Pisces, has this functional relationship with his daughter. Or maybe that's why it was. She was very jealous and nasty and controlling of her dad. You see, like, I mean, that's what I like when I do a reading. I always say, guys, give me your feedback, give me your feedback. That's why I also learn, because there are like so many subsets. So you see, when you really have to, and maybe I should go back to really interpreting the card the way I see it, so you know where my logic and process comes through, right? So that's what it was. See, Creative Guru, thank you. So we have 7 of Wands. And look, and this was jumping, and this was jumping. Maybe it was a situation with 2 women of some sort, but look at him. He is like, I mean, Page of Swords over here. So this is immature energy, guys. Ooh, he's Hierophant. And 2 of Cups jumped right through. So guys, you're leaving something behind. You're moving forward towards something. 7 days from now, guys, so this is Friday, there's going to be a huge shift. There's like something connecting to travel, guys. There's like something connecting to understanding your own truth. You know, that's really, really crucial. I think people these days, we are living in strange times, that people are not willing to admit their truths to themselves, never mind to a partner. Everything seems to be, I mean, I spent last night, I couldn't sleep, so I was watching these YouTube videos, and it was in Korea, how they dated and how it was really interesting. They kind of like put the barriers in between 2 of them, and each time they would feel comfortable, they would remove the barrier, and it was like based on a question. So finally it came to a question, which was, would you change religion for me or for your partner? And both partners said no, which means it's the end of the game. And it kind of like really feels to some extent that way, right? Except really what I liked about those videos was like how candid and loving they are. I highly suggest watching this. It's like something that we are really missing. And it was not, I guess they were trying to remove the salesmanship about everything. And then another one was like where the guy was meeting 4 women, and all of them wore masks. I mean, actually they looked quite freaky, and they were talking about their insecurities, and he had to pick one. And one was saying that she's very insecure about her weight, that she's like eating very little, so I guess a little bit of anorexia. All of them seems to be very, very into their looks, And in the end, this guy, I don't know if you want to watch it, I'm not going to tell you what happened in the end, but that was really, really interesting. So this card to me, especially when you see kind of like how he has the sword in his hand, not like in the other decks that he's having the swords up, it's kind of like you lay your sword down, or laying your sword down. Maybe you guys have been going to a situation that you had a 3-party, because I see it in this card and this card, and maybe you're cutting, maybe this cut through you, maybe it felt violating, right? Because this dude over here is sort of like saying that certain things happened to you, but it didn't stop you of believing in love. And then again, you're freaking Leo. I mean, that kind of like makes sense. But I also think that it's going to be using your intelligence in order to move forward. And it's kind of weird. In your general reading, you have this emotional component. You're feeling comfortable, emotionally engaging. Where, when it comes to love relationships, you are like, you're enthusiastic. This can also talk about dating people. It could it could mean running into someone, literally meeting a new person, and it could be somebody who is younger than you. That's what I see. But then you're getting into the situation that almost looks to me like 2 of Cups, but it's 9 of Cups, where you're saying to yourself, I need to be extremely comfortable with this person. So usually as a Leo, when you date, you actually don't look for comfort. That would not be your modus operandi. You would look for excitement, which I see over here. You would look for travel. You would look for actions. You would look for activity. Versus what I'm seeing over here, it's going to be sort of like a sober thought. What you need, who you need. You need to feel comfortable. And some of you are really talking or thinking about marriage, because look at this. It's the Ace of Pentacles and it's the Hierophant. So it is, you're marriage minded, or you're like focused on your relationship, you're focused on the rules, you're focused on what really works. And this is connecting with 10 of Cups. Again, guys, I see something here. If you're in a relationship, it may go to the next level. It can feel this way. It can feel that maybe you had some issues in the past. Maybe you're dealing with Taurus. Maybe you're dealing with, as I said, I mean, you have all of these signs showing up, but very strongly I'm seeing water, and I'm also seeing air. So this can talk about somebody's immaturity, but also I think you're going to see certain advantages about having connection with this person, and maybe seeing something that will work out. So if you guys are single and if you're trying to find someone this next week, I would recommend dating and meeting and exploring with people, and maybe somebody who's very intelligent is going to strike your fancy. If you guys are with somebody already, maybe you're going to say there are still some kind of secrets that are going on, and we need to maybe put certain things aside and kind of like deal with certain things. So that could be kind of like something that you can deal with. But you know, this really means really good. It's kind of like feels committed to either finding someone or getting married. So let's see which card you get here for you. Surrender. Surrender. Are you going to say yes, or are you going to say, well, c'est la vie, que sera sera, kind of a thing? Surrender to me always means you feel comfortable about doing that, because it's, maybe you have been a little bit high strung, and that's kind of like the first thought that I had going through my head. And now it's kind of like overall feeling, hey, you know what? I feel okay. I don't feel hesitation anymore, because that's what I picked in your cards. When it came to love, there was like not that emotional openness that I felt that otherwise you are. So which means you have been hurt, you have been reserved. There are like certain things going on. So surrender means, okay, I'll go with the flow and let's see what happens, which means you're really healing. You're getting into something. So somebody, I believe, asked me for pick a card again. I guess somebody has a next question over here. So let me pencil this in. Pick a card, and let me kind of hide this away from you so that way I can shuffle it. I can shuffle it properly. There we go. So guys, I'm going to have 3 doors, And did you guys like my pick a card new readings? I don't know. I'm not having that many views on it, but I really think it's fun because it allows you to pick your own group and your own reading. So, but I'm going to do it whenever I feel enthused to do it, right? So let me see. Let me see. I'm still shuffling. Not a single card came through. Okay, I got two coming out together, but it feels like I have to keep them together. So it's a group number 1, then a group number 2, a card number 2 came, and then number 3. Okay, let's open this up. So let's see who asked for group number 1, who asked for group number 2, and who asked for group number 3, guys. So first group, we have 6 of Swords and 2 of Wands. There's like some essence of moving forward with something, resolving some issues, kind of like having new sets of goals, new sets of aspirations, going new direction. Here she's looking into this globe and she's saying, what can I create? It's a lots of planning happening. To some extent, it's a little bit of indecision. Some of you maybe have asked about commitment of some sort, and it's just basically saying make sure that you kind of like do this planning properly, because it's going to be really important, because ultimately neither of them know the destination in this card. So it's kind of like to be continued. It's going to be a partial success, but it's going to take a little bit more things along the path. So it's going to be really, really important to do this, right? Okay, so the second one, who picked the number 2? So Wendy picked number 2 and Kylie picked number 1. Kylie, how did that work out? Let me know. What was question? If you guys want to give me your exact question, I can maybe even clarify it more. That's what actually maybe I have to modify for live reading, so that that way, since you're here and chatting, you kind of like get a little bit even more benefit out of it. So Wendy, ooh, you're getting the star. This is like something about hope and aspiration and achievement. This is really telling me that whoever picked group number 2, card number 2, you already have a goal in your mind. You already want something to happen. So just keep hoping, because it's going to come true. But you really need to focus on it. You cannot just say, I want to win lottery, but then just forget about it. No, literally you have to eat, read, breathe that wish in order for this to come true. So will he come back? Yes. Yes. And it can be very, very shortly, within the next couple of weeks, I would say. Okay. So Judgment for the group number 3. So this is tricky because it has 2 explanations. It can be both great and it might not be great. So if you have been at your utmost good behavior and everything has been happening with accordance to being ethical and being right about that, things are going to work fabulously for you. But you also need to ask for if you're asking, for example, for a relationship for somebody else, you also need to ask for the best possible solution for them. So it's going to be really, really important, right? If you were scheming or somebody else was scheming, then somebody was going to get caught over here, because ultimately this is again this time of clarity. Like, I mean, the people will ascend, but only people who ascend are the people who are worthy of this like specific chalice, right? In King Arthur basically deck over here. I would say overall the energy I'm picking up from it, it's very positive. And I feel that even if, let's say, you feel, oh, maybe I could have done a better job, blah 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 blah, I feel that even understanding of this would mean, okay, but in order for something to happen, I really want it to happen in the best possible interest, because only that way it's going to really work perfectly well, and it's going to kind of like feel positive and enthusiastic. So there you go. It almost looks like 3 out of 3 in this particular case. So hopefully these guys help. And Scorpio, you're last but not the least. So let me see. Kylie, ask if my study path of holistic integrated creative art therapy was successful. And you check number 1. So it's saying that basically you're on the right path, right? 6 of Wands, but that you don't have all the answers, that you simply, and maybe that's because you're a fire sign, this simply is asking you to just take chunks of the path and not entirely. So it's going to be something down your path that might modify. Maybe, let's say you're going to finish or you're going to switch somewhere or add something to it, which is going to make it more sense for you down the road. So there's going to be still something that might change down the road. So it will be a good thing to, let's say, ask the same questions in about month time or something, right? Or through every quarter in order for this kind of like to get a much better understanding. All right, so Scorpio, you're the last, but you know the last person always gets a good reading, so that's pretty neat here. Scorpio, just drop down. 8 of Swords, you have Queen of Swords, you have 6 of Cups, and 8 of Swords. Oh my goodness, did you guys isolate someone? Look at this. She closed her beak. Queen of Swords doesn't speak much, and she doesn't have to say much because she knows quite a bit. But Queen of Swords can talk a bit, and especially she came reversed initially. You may have somebody in your life from the past who is reappearing. This is general, so it could mean at work that you have somebody who is verbally abusive or passive aggressive of some kind of like sort that can create some uncomfortable situation for you, where you will feel stuck, where you will feel isolated, where you will feel things are not moving forward, right? You might be dealing also with Sagittarius. That kind of energy, it is really coming through. Interestingly, when I started this channel, it was like, oh my gosh, Scorpio, Sagittarius, it was like something going on in this energy. Aquarius was also interesting, Virgo, but things started to clear out quite a bit. Now, Queen of Swords could also represent you, that you need to kind of like position yourself, that you need to kind of like go in a new direction, that you need to kind of like absorb completely new system. Maybe instead of like a very emotional, intuitive approach that usually is your approach, you are really doing this in a more logical way. But it's kind of like this feeling of stuck. The 8 of Swords is maybe you're not getting answer. Maybe this is simple that Mercury retrograde, wherever you're entering, you are trying to find a solution of some sort. It's not going to be easy at least this particular week. So keep in mind that. Meaning Yogi asked if the person in my reading this week was someone new that I don't know. So the answer was yes. So then you have the Knight of Wands, and I don't know if you guys remember this woman sitting on a chair and just thinking about through. This is basically what happened right after somebody's arrival. So this is again, you have like strong fire. So it's either going to be a dating of some sort, and then you got 2. You got the Empress, and you're getting this 3 of Pentacles. There's like somebody who is interfering with I mean, this is strong Scorpio. I see Scorpio, I see Sagittarius, but I also see fire over here, even though the earth and air showed up as well. So this is music to your ears. There are going to be some kind of like sexy times, guys, that's for sure. I also think it's like about leaving something behind and moving something forward. You're really clear about what you need. It's really interesting. She's going down the stairs. As an Empress, I would position her going up the stairs, but I guess they wanted to show the face toward us. It almost looks like there is a cross over here on the bottom, which tells me there is like some kind of healing of some kind of like sort. So I really feel this is lots of passion, and it also could be an engagement with your kids of some sort and trying to work certain things out. you are like very strong. You're actually going to surprise yourself how strong you are. And the strength of the people usually shows up in the situations where you don't have clear solution, you don't have clear strategy, you don't have this manual that you can open up and say, what do I do in this situation? This is sort of like really something you need to wing it, right? I clearly see that it's going to be some kind of like really romance on the horizon. This Empress is like seriously talking about nurturing, seriously talking about somebody's contribution is going to be exactly what the doctor has prescribed. And it's going to feel like there is like a sense of team building. So the very things that you actually really want at work, you're not getting at work. You're not getting, let's say, with family and etc. Like, but you're so much getting this in your private life, which is really important for you. So you're kind of like feeding that need and then enthusiasm in order for you to kind of like start moving forward. So I think this is really, really interesting over here. So what is this? Look at this. I even got these stickers that I found that is over here. So what we have here is presence. So maybe maybe there is somebody who is a stalker. But it could be also, guys, if you have somebody who passed away that you are very connected with, that you're going to feel that connection, that you're going to feel there is like this engagement. This kind of like shows this to me very well. Six of Cups, it talks about the past and talks about something that felt really right. And it's kind of comparison between the past and the present. It's telling you, do not go back. Do not look back. It's really important to move forward for you in spite of maybe feeling there are like boundaries, that there's somebody setting their limits and their limitations and how things can progress or will progress forward. I really don't think there are going to be big complications, for example, in your private life, but I do think that you will need to access it, because presence to me almost like means presence of mind. And even though the angel here is illuminated, it's saying, you know, just be here right now and right here. Don't bring it up the past issues. Don't really go into big planning. Just be here. Just kind of like talk about it. Okay, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this right now, and let's see how do we move forward. So, well, that's it, guys. That will be, you know, the today's session. So there you go. I cannot make it in an hour. It was like my commitment. I'll have to do it in an hour. So in the next time, I'm going to do just one category. It's going to be easier. And we can do this, pick a card. But when I do pick a card next time, I'm going to take your question and with a card that you pick to give you exact explanations. So you kind of like get that as well. So I really thank you for being here and for starting the celebration of my birthday. That was absolutely lovely. Barbie, I'm going to be mailing this to you in a second, and hopefully this time is a little bit better. I kind of like even tried to make it a little bit better to write this down for you, and then Barbie makes it pretty and she just uploads it, and that's absolutely, we need to be thankful for her for running that show. So basically enjoy, guys, this weekend. I think if you're in the US, you also have possibly the President Day, right? And so you might have that extra day off. If not, if you're in Australia, I don't know if you guys have any holiday, but hopefully you're going to have a lovely weekend. I'm going to play a little music and then this kind of like subscribe screen. I don't know why I do this, but hey, why not? And until the next time, until the next week, you know that I love you. I wish you all the best. Be good and talk to you soon. Click to end stream. Talk to you soon.